There's an 18-year-old boy who gets death threats before breakfast. While you were scrolling through your phone this morning, somewhere in Barcelona, a teenager was reading comments telling him he's a fraud, that he's ruined football, that he should quit the sport entirely. His crime? Being too good, too young, too fast. In an era where we claim to protect youth mental health, we've created a machine designed to destroy it. And right now, that machine is locked onto one target. His name is Lamine Yamal. Every single day, millions of people who've never kicked a football in their lives analyze his every touch, his every movement, his every expression. They dissect him like he's a specimen in a laboratory. They compare him to Messi, to Ronaldo, to legends who've had 20-year careers. And when he doesn't match up, the knives come out. But here's what nobody talks about. Here's the part that keeps getting buried under the noise. This isn't just about football anymore. This is about what we've become. This is about how we treat talent, how we consume potential, how we build people up just to watch them fall. And at the center of it all is a kid who just wanted to play the game he loves. This is the story of the most criticized teenager in football history. And it's not what you think. Let's go back to where it started. Before the hate, before the headlines, before the world knew his name. Mataró, a coastal town just outside Barcelona. Working-class neighborhoods where football isn't just a sport, it's oxygen. It's the language everyone speaks. And in 2007, in a modest apartment in the Rocafonda district, a boy was born who would change everything. His father, Monir, had come from Morocco years earlier. His mother, Sheila, had roots in Equatorial Guinea. They gave him a name that meant safe in Arabic, Lamine. They had no idea how unsafe the world would make him feel. By the time Lamine was 4 years old, something was already different. The way he moved with a ball wasn't normal. It wasn't just skill, it was instinct. Natural, like he'd been born understanding geometry and physics in ways that made no sense for a child. His grandmother, who lived in Morocco, would watch videos of him playing in the street, and she'd say the same thing every time. That boy has magic in his feet. She wasn't wrong. At 6 years old, Lamine joined his local team, CF La Torrida. The coaches saw it immediately. This wasn't talent you could teach. This was the kind of gift that appears once in a generation. Maybe less. He was smaller than the other kids, younger than most, but it didn't matter. He'd glide past defenders like they were training cones. He'd see passes that professional players would miss. And he did it all with this strange calmness, like the chaos around him existed in a different dimension. Word spread fast in Barcelona's football community. You can't hide a player like that. Not in a city where football scouts lurk at every youth pitch, where every parent dreams their kid might be the next big thing. By the time Lamine was 7, Barcelona had come calling. La Masia, the most famous football academy in the world. The place that produced Messi, Xavi, Iniesta. The dream factory, but also, as we'd later learn, the pressure cooker. Inside La Masia, Lamine wasn't just another talented kid. He was different even among the gifted. While other boys his age were learning basic techniques, he was already playing like he'd studied the game for decades. His coaches would set up training drills, and he'd complete them in ways they hadn't imagined. Creative, unexpected, efficient. There's a story from when he was 9 years old. During a training session, one of Barcelona's youth coordinators, a man who'd worked with some of the club's greatest ever players, pulled aside Lamine's coach. "That boy," he said, pointing at Lamine. "He's going to play for the first team. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. Mark my words." But here's where the story takes its first dark turn. Because once people start saying things like that, once the whispers begin, everything changes. Expectations aren't just raised, they're weaponized. And for a kid who's still in primary school, who still plays with toys and watches cartoons, suddenly the weight of an entire club's future starts pressing down on his shoulders. The pressure built slowly at first. Journalists started showing up at youth games, filming him, writing articles about the next Messi. Parents of other kids would watch him with a mixture of admiration and resentment. Why was their son not getting the same attention? Social media accounts dedicated to Barcelona youth football began posting compilation videos of his skills. By the time he was 12, Thousands of strangers knew his name. They had opinions about him. They had expectations, and none of them knew him at all. Then came the explosion. Lamine Yamal was 15 years old. Most 15-year-olds are worried about exams and fitting in at school. Lamine was being prepared to play professional football at the highest level. Barcelona were in crisis. Financial ruin had gutted the squad. The greatest players had left or been forced out. The club was desperate for hope, for something to believe in. And their solution was to put it all on the shoulders of a teenager who couldn't even drive a car yet. April 29th, 2023. Barcelona versus Real Betis. A nothing game, really, by Barcelona's usual standards. But in the 83rd minute, something historic happened. Xavi Hernandez, the Barcelona manager and club legend, made a substitution. Number 41 came on. Lamine Yamal, 15 years, 9 months, and 16 days old. The youngest player in Barcelona's history. The youngest player in La Liga in decades. And just like that, the entire world was watching. The media frenzy was instant and overwhelming. Every sports publication on Earth ran the story. Social media exploded. Everyone had an opinion. He's too young. This is irresponsible. He's not ready. This is just a PR stunt. Barcelona are exploiting a child. The criticism wasn't about his ability, it was about his age. But that would change soon enough. Because what nobody expected was this. He was actually brilliant. Just 2 months later, in May, he scored his first goal for Barcelona. Against Real Betis again, ironically, the youngest goal scorer in the club's history. He didn't celebrate like other teenagers would. No wild running, no screaming. Just a small smile and nod to his teammates. Like he'd expected it. Like it was inevitable. The comparisons to Messi went nuclear. Every single article, every analysis, every social media post. Is this the new Messi? Messi's heir. The next Messi. And with those comparisons came something toxic. Expectation. Not hope. Not excitement. Expectation. The demand that this 15-year-old boy should immediately replicate what arguably the greatest player in football history took years to achieve. It was insane. It was unfair. And it was only the beginning. Summer of 2023. The spotlight got brighter. Barcelona's preseason tour of the United States. Sold-out stadiums filled with fans who'd paid hundreds of dollars for tickets. And a huge portion of them were there to see one person. A 16-year-old kid. The pressure was suffocating. Every touch he made was filmed from 12 different angles and analyzed by experts and amateurs alike. Every pass, every dribble, every shot. And when things didn't go perfectly, when he made a mistake, because of course he made mistakes, he was 16, the criticism started to shift. He's overrated. All hype. Barcelona are deluded if they think this kid is special. He's not even that good. The pendulum had swung. The same people who'd been calling him the next Messi were now calling him a fraud. Welcome to modern football discourse, where nuance goes to die and everyone's an expert. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared the world for what was about to happen. Because in the summer of 2024, Lamine Yamal didn't just become famous. He became a phenomenon, a legend, a national hero. At 16 years old, UEFA Euro 2024. Spain hadn't won a major tournament since 2012. Their golden generation had faded. The world had written them off. But Luis de la Fuente, Spain's manager, made a decision that seemed absolutely mad to most observers. He was taking Lamine Yamal to the Euros, a 16-year-old, to one of the biggest tournaments in world football. The criticism was immediate and fierce. Ridiculous. He's going to crumble under the pressure. Spain have lost their minds. Even some Spanish media were skeptical. This wasn't La Liga anymore. This was international football, against the best defenders in the world, in stadiums filled with 60,000 hostile fans. This was different. The tournament started, and Lamine Yamal did something nobody saw coming. He tore it apart. Against Croatia in Spain's first match, he was electric. Against Italy, he was unplayable. Against France in the semifinal, he became immortal. That goal, that impossible, physics-defying, generational goal. Picking up the ball near the halfway line, cutting inside, defenders surrounding him, and then just unleashing a shot that bent and curved and screamed into the top corner. 16 years and 362 days old. The youngest goal scorer in European Championship history. The stadium went silent. Then it exploded. His teammates mobbed him. Grown men, experienced internationals. We're looking at this teenager like he'd just performed a miracle. Spain won the tournament. Lamine Yamal lifted the trophy wearing a smile that somehow looked both childlike and ancient. He played every minute of the knockout stages. He'd been named Young Player of the Tournament. He produced moments that would be replayed for generations. At 16, while most 16-year-olds were celebrating finishing their exams, Lamine Yamal was celebrating becoming a European champion, the youngest player ever to do so. You'd think that would silence the critics, right? That winning one of football's biggest prizes would earn him some peace? You'd be wrong, because this is where it gets really dark. This is where the criticism transformed from skepticism into something much uglier. After the Euros, the backlash didn't just continue. It intensified. It mutated. Social media became a war zone, and Lamine Yamal was the target. Every single day, thousands of comments. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. He's only good because Spain carried him. He scored one lucky goal. He's the most overrated player in football history. He's ruining Barcelona. He's a one-season wonder. Wait until defenses figure him out. But it wasn't just criticism of his football. It got personal. It got racist. Comments about his Moroccan and African heritage. Monkey emojis. Slurs. Death threats. This is what we do now. This is what modern football fandom has become. A 16-year-old boy who just won a European championship was receiving messages telling him to kill himself. From adults. From people old enough to be his parents or grandparents. Rival fans were the worst. Real Madrid fans created entire campaigns against him. Not because of anything he'd done to them, but because he played for Barcelona. That's it. That's the crime. Social media accounts with hundreds of thousands of followers would post videos mocking him, creating narratives that he was arrogant, that he was disrespectful, that he thought he was better than everyone else. None of it was true, but truth doesn't matter when you're building a hate campaign. Even fans from clubs he'd never played against started piling on. It became a trend. Hating Lamine Yamal was the cool thing to do. Because he was hyped. Because he was young. Because he played for Barcelona. Because he was successful. Pick your reason. They were all being used. The overrated narrative became gospel. Never mind that he was producing numbers that most wingers in their prime would be proud of. Never mind that at 17, he was creating more chances than players 10 years older with far more experience. Never mind that he'd already achieved more than 99.9% of professional footballers ever would. He was overrated. The internet had decided. And in the age of the internet, perception is reality. Football experts on YouTube and TikTok, people who'd never played the game professionally, were making hour-long videos exposing why Lamine Yamal was a fraud. They'd freeze-frame moments where he lost the ball, moments where a pass didn't come off, moments where his body language looked wrong. They'd ignore the hundreds of successful actions, the assists, the goals, the game-changing moments. Negativity sells. Outrage generates clicks. And a 17-year-old kid was the product. Former players joined in too. People who should know better. Who should remember what it felt like to be young and scrutinized. Some of them called him disrespectful for his on-field gestures, for his confidence. He needs to be humble, they said, as if confidence was a crime, as if showing personality was arrogance. They wanted him to be great, but only quietly. They wanted him to be exceptional, but also invisible. It was an impossible standard, and it was designed to fail. Let's talk about what this actually does to a person, because we don't talk about that enough. We treat footballers like they're not human, like they're characters in a video game we can criticize without consequence. But Lamine Yamal is real. He's 17 years old. His brain is still developing. The part that handles stress and emotional regulation won't be fully formed for another 7 or 8 years. And we're subjecting him to a level of scrutiny and hatred that would break most adults. Studies on youth athletes under extreme pressure show devastating effects. Anxiety, depression, burnout, loss of love for the sport. Some quit entirely. Others develop mental health conditions that last their entire lives. And football doesn't care. Football keeps chewing them up and spitting them out. Because there's always another prodigy coming. Always another kid to exploit. Imagine being 17 and Googling your own name. Every single day, thousands of people saying you're not good enough, that you're a disappointment, that you're a fraud. Now imagine that some of those people are saying things much worse. Racist things, violent things, and you can't escape it because it's everywhere. Your teammates see it, your family sees it, your friend from school see it. Everyone knows what people are saying about you. And the worst part? You have to perform. Every 3 days, sometimes less, you have to go onto a pitch in front of 90,000 people and millions watching on TV, and you have to be perfect. Because if you're not, if you have an off game, if you miss a chance or lose the ball, all of that hatred is justified. See? They were right. You are overrated. You are a fraud. There's a moment from earlier this season that perfectly captures this. Barcelona were playing Real Sociedad. Lamine received the ball, tried a skill move that didn't come off, and lost possession. A mistake. The kind every winger makes dozens of times per season. But the reaction on social media was instant. Thousands of posts. Finished. Exposed. One season wonder confirmed. From one mistake. One single mistake in one single game. Or when Barcelona lost to Monaco in the Champions League. Lamine had a quiet game. Not terrible, just quiet. The criticism was volcanic. Entire articles were written about whether he was already in decline. At 17, whether his best days were behind him. At 17, whether Barcelona should consider selling him. At 17, the absurdity would be funny if it wasn't so cruel. His family has spoken about the toll it takes. His father has had to tell him not to read comments, to stay off social media. But how do you do that when you're 17? When all your friends are on social media? When it's how your generation communicates? You can't. So he sees it, all of it, and he has to carry it with him every single day. But here's the thing they don't want you to know. Here's what gets lost in all the noise and the hatred and the criticism. Despite everything, despite the pressure and the scrutiny and the abuse, Lamine Yamal keeps answering. On the pitch, where it actually matters. October 2024, Barcelona versus Bayern Munich. Champions League. Bayern, one of Europe's superpowers, coming to Barcelona's home ground. And Lamine Yamal destroyed them. Absolutely destroyed them. 2 assists. Constant threat. Running at defenders like they weren't there. After the match, Bayern's players were talking about him with genuine fear in their voices. He's unplayable, one of them said. We couldn't get near him. This is a 17-year-old making Champions League winners look like amateurs. Or El Clasico, the biggest rivalry in football. Barcelona versus Real Madrid. October 2024. Real Madrid were the Champions League holders, one of the best teams in the world. And Lamine Yamal tore them apart, playing with a freedom and creativity that had the Bernabeu in stunned silence. One moment in particular, picking up the ball, skinning 2 defenders, and creating a goal. Madrid's fans, who'd spent months calling him overrated online, could only watch in horror. The numbers don't lie, no matter how much people want them to. By 17, Lamine Yamal had scored and assisted in more matches for Barcelona than any teenager in the club's history. More than Messi at the same age. Let that sink in. The player everyone compares him to, the standard everyone holds him to, Lamine was actually ahead of him statistically at the same age. But nobody wants to talk about that. It doesn't fit the narrative. His passing accuracy in the final third is elite. His chance creation numbers put him among the top wingers in Europe. His ability to beat defenders one-on-one is statistically better than almost anyone in his position. He's 17, and he's already world-class by every measurable metric. But still, the criticism continues. Still, people call him overrated. Because feelings matter more than facts now. Because narratives matter more than evidence. Watch him play, actually watch him, and you see things that can't be taught. Vision, timing, spatial awareness. The way he receives the ball on the half turn, already knowing where the defender is, already planning his next move. The way he manipulates space, dragging defenders out of position to create room for teammates. The way he stays calm under pressure, never panicking, never forcing things. These are traits that take most players a decade to develop. He's doing it at 17. His coaches talk about him with a kind of reverence that's rare. Xavi called him a generational talent and said coaching him was a privilege. Luis Enrique, after facing him in the Champions League, said he was scared of what Lamine might become. These are people who've worked with the best players in the world, and they're saying a 17-year-old is different, special.
The 17-year-old, I think, is doing things that no other 17-year-old's ever done in football. I think at the moment, I don't know if there's anyone more exciting to go to a stadium and watch right now.
I don't think I've seen anything like it since Messi.
He's the chosen one.
Yeah.
He's the chosen one after Messi.
The best player in the world right now is Lamine Yamal.
I think he's the best player in the world, to be honest.
He's broken all the records in terms of like youngest to play in La Liga, youngest to score, youngest to assist, youngest to play for Barca. Like, it's just crazy what he's done. He's broken all those records. He's the youngest. Lamine Yamal, aka the youngest.
But let's be clear about something we keep forgetting, something that should be obvious but somehow isn't. Lamine Yamal is 18 years old. 18, you should be worrying about school, about friends, about what to do on weekends. Instead, he's carrying the weight of a historic football club on his back. He's representing his country. He's dealing with millions of people having opinions about him. And he's doing it while his brain is still developing, while he's still figuring out who he is as a person. We keep forgetting he's a child. We dress it up with words like young adult or professional athlete, but legally, developmentally, emotionally, he's still a child. And we treat him like he's a finished product, like he should already be at his peak. Like any imperfection is a failure. It's madness. There are videos of him from after matches, still in his kit, and you can see it. The exhaustion, not physical exhaustion, something deeper. The weight of always having to prove himself, always having to answer critics, always having to be exceptional just to be considered acceptable. And still, he keeps doing it. Still, he shows up. Still, he performs. His teammates have become protective of him. Older players like Robert Lewandowski and Ilkay Gundogan talk about shielding him from the worst of the pressure, about reminding him he's young, that mistakes are okay, that he doesn't have to be perfect. But the world outside the dressing room doesn't give him that grace. The world outside expects perfection. Every single time. There's a clip that went viral a few months ago. Lamine scoring a goal, celebrating, and then immediately his face changing. The joy draining away, replaced by something that looked like relief. Not happiness, relief. Relief that maybe this would quiet the critics for a day or two. Relief that maybe this would buy him some peace. A 17-year-old shouldn't feel that way after scoring a goal. But that's what we've done to him. So what happens next? Where does this story go from here? Because Lamine Yamal's career is just beginning. He's 17. Most players don't even make their professional debut until they're older than he is now. He has potentially 20 years ahead of him. 20 years of this scrutiny. 20 years of this pressure. How does he survive that? The optimistic view is that he becomes one of the greatest players of his generation. That he fulfills all that potential we've been talking about. That he wins Ballon d'Ors and Champions Leagues and becomes the player Barcelona desperately need him to be. That he proves all the critics wrong and has the last laugh. It's possible. The talent is absolutely there. The mentality seems to be there too. If anyone can handle this, maybe it's him. But there's another possibility, one we don't like to talk about, but should. That the pressure becomes too much. That the constant criticism wears him down. That he burns out before he's even 25. That he becomes another cautionary tale about wasted potential. About a kid who had everything but couldn't handle what came with it. We've seen it happen before. Michael Owen, Alexander Pato, Freddie Adu. Different circumstances, but the same core problem. Too much, too soon, too heavy. Or maybe, and this is what scares football the most, he just walks away. Players do that now. They retire young because the mental health cost isn't worth it. Because no amount of money or success is worth feeling like the world hates you. Lamine Yamal could wake up tomorrow and decide that none of this is worth it. And who could blame him? The truth is we don't know. Nobody knows. Because we're in uncharted territory here. Never before has a player this young been subjected to this level of scrutiny in the age of social media. Messi came up before Twitter and Instagram. Ronaldo's early career was before the smartphone era. Lamine Yamal is the first truly digital age prodigy. The first teenager to have millions of people with instant, direct access to criticize him. We're running an experiment in real time on a child's psyche, and we have no idea what the results will be. What we do know is this. He's already achieved things most players dream of their entire careers. European Championship winner at 16. Barcelona's youngest ever goal scorer. Spain's youngest ever scorer. Breaking records that stood for decades. And he did it while being called overrated. While being told he wasn't good enough. While carrying weight that would crush most people. That takes something special. Something rare. Here's what this story is really about. It's not just about Lamine Yamal. It's about all of us. About what we become as football fans. About how we consume sport. About how we treat the people who provide us with entertainment and moments of joy. We built this system. We created this environment where a 17-year-old receives death threats for playing a game. We're the ones who decided that our opinions, our criticism, our hatred matters more than a young person's well-being. We say we love football. We say we want to see the beautiful game. We say we want to witness greatness. But then when greatness appears, when a once-in-a-generation talent emerges, we try to destroy it. We pick at it. We criticize it. We tear it down. Because that's more entertaining, apparently. Because building people up is boring, but watching them fall is thrilling. Lamine Yamal didn't ask for any of this. He didn't ask to be the next Messi. He didn't ask to be Barcelona's savior. He didn't ask to be scrutinized by millions. He just wanted to play football. That's it. That's all he ever wanted. To kick a ball around and enjoy himself. And we took that simple joy and turned it into a nightmare. The most criticized teenager in football history. That's what we've made him. That's his legacy right now at 17. Not European champion. Not Barcelona star. Not generational talent. The most criticized. Because we couldn't help ourselves. Because we needed someone to tear down. Because that's what we do now. But maybe, just maybe we can change. Maybe we can remember that behind the jersey and the highlights and the statistics is a kid. A real person. With feelings and fears and dreams. Maybe we can give him the grace we'd want for our own children. Maybe we can celebrate what he is instead of criticizing what he isn't. Maybe we can let him be 17. Or maybe we won't. Maybe the machine is too big now. Too powerful. Too hungry. Maybe Lamine Yamal is just the latest sacrifice to the football content industrial complex. Another young player fed to the algorithm. Another teenager whose potential becomes our entertainment until we get bored and move on to the next one. Time will tell, but one thing is certain. Win or lose. Success or failure. Superstar or cautionary tale. Lamine Yamal has already shown more courage, more resilience, more strength than most people will ever have to show in their entire lives. At 17, he's already survived something that would break most adults. And he's still here, still playing, still fighting, still believing. That makes him exceptional, no matter what anyone says. That makes him a champion, no matter what the critics claim. That makes him special, whether we deserve him or not. The most criticized teenager in football history, but also perhaps the strongest. Time will tell which legacy defines him. The criticism he received or the greatness he achieved despite it.